Access to justice can be defined as the ability of people to seek and obtain a remedy for grievances by means of formal or informal judicial institutions. However, the capacity to seek remedy may be a challenge in the framework of the kafala system. In this context, migrant workers may be denied some of their fundamental rights and freedoms.
The UAE is a major destination country in the Gulf region for foreign workers, primarily from Asia, but also from developed parts of the world. Foreign workers make up a significant number of the population of the UAE.
The rationale behind today's gathering is to address opportunities and challenges ahead for improving equal access to justice for workers in the UAE and beyond. The debate will focus on areas where progress has been made and will assess their human rights impact. It will then focus on areas where future progress is needed and feasible.
GCC countries have made remarkable efforts to improve the rights of migrant workers to access both formal and informal judicial institutions. The UAE has recently adopted a series of reforms in this direction, such as the creation of a legal aid department for destitute persons, including migrant workers, as well as the establishment of a one-day court system and of mobile courts.
Legal aid is important for education. Education is important for empowerment. Next, as far as developments to help workers, is make them feel confident that the system will work for them. And that's why we had mobile courts. If you're one of 200 or 300 workers in a labour camp, you can't get to the labour court and you've not been paid, your access to justice has already been undermined. But having a bus that's been converted into a court, which a judge, a case manager and a clerk is there to allow you to bring your claim, bring your grievance and get it dealt with in a local way, is a very, in my view, very, very good development.
The government of the UAE has also undertaken a series of initiatives aiming at enhancing the protection of other work-related migrant workers' rights. An example is provided by the wage protection system, which was introduced in 2009.
They should take action to prevent so many instances of delayed wages. And they can do this by banning pay when paid, which is the problem where the contractors do not pass on the money. They could also try to fine the main contractor. If the workers have not been paid, instead of fining the immediate employer of the workers, they could fine the main contractor, who is really responsible.
Until recently, the UAE's labour law excluded domestic workers from its protections entirely. But in 2017, in a positive move, the UAE passed a separate law on domestic workers, providing legal protections for domestic workers' rights for the very first time. These provisions are a significant advance, but they are still weaker than the UAE labour law, which is provided for all other workers.
We had a technical cooperation with the UAE, and particularly with the Ministry of Human Resources and Militarisation, around the governance of the labour market and a number of issues relating, for example, to labour market information, labour inspection, occupational safety and health, as well as dispute resolution on labour matters, including access to justice for foreign workers in the UAE.
As more than 200 nationalities are currently living and working in the country, all are governed by a legal system that protects their beliefs, respects their customs and traditions and their way of life. In a full compliance with the international labour law supervised by the International Labour Organization, with which we have built a strong relationship, employment matters in the United Arab Emirates are governed by federal law number 8 of 1980s.
There are extensive protections afforded by law number 8 of 1980, which is the core labour law, and those protections include maximum working hours, leave, both paternity, sick leave and annual leave, maximum working hours, overtime and overtime pay, and protection from dismissal and severance payments on termination.
My Prime Minister was in the UAE last month, and we signed an MOU on manpower cooperation, and my Prime Minister specifically thanked the UAE leadership for the continuing labor reforms.
They've been a real asset, the foreign workers, and they should be given the credit, of course, for what has been accomplished in the past, almost 5 decades. So, the country is dependent on, to some extent, on their contribution. They come with the skills, they come with the knowledge, they come with the backgrounds, which really made the country very much diverse.
It was a lively session. I think it was thought-provoking. The panel dynamics were there. We had diverse views. And as a matter of fact, this is what I thought was going to happen with the selection of panelists. There was good participation from the audience. And in my view, the discussion, what was so interesting is that went beyond the bounds of the Human Rights Council and the International Labour Organization.